Hi Stats class, it's Miss O'Neill, and this video is proportional word problems number 2. Today's date is going to be May 14th, and we're going to be focusing a little bit more on the idea of word problems and setting them up. So many of these problems are going to require us trying to create a proportion. And remember, a proportion is a fraction equal to a fraction. So in every single example that I do today, this is my goal. I want to create this so that I can cross multiply and solve it. If I start out with number 5, it tells us that Melanie can run around the track 9 times in 28 minutes. At this rate, how many laps can she run in 1 hour and 15 minutes? So, some important details that we have in here. She can run around the track 9 times in 28 minutes. I also am told that in 1 hour and 15 minutes, I want to know how many laps has she accomplished. So, the fact that this first phrase right here, how many laps, is mentioned, this is going to be your letter X. That's what we want to find. I want to know the number of laps that she can run in 1 hour and 15 minutes. Much like a recipe, if I have a relationship, I can make that relationship grow or decrease depending on what I'm looking for. If I'm going from 28 minutes to 1 hour and 15 minutes, I'm trying to increase or make her relationship get larger. So with that in mind, we know I can make one relationship equal to the other. If we take a look, it tells us 9 laps takes 28 minutes. What would this fraction have to have on top and on bottom? Would we do laps per minutes or minutes per laps? If you're thinking back to our video from Tuesday, you should have said laps and minutes. Remember, that video focused on us trying to stay consistent. The whole purpose here is to have an equal proportion. The only way to remain equal is to keep the order the same as well. So, we know X was the how many laps. We don't know how many she ran. That's our goal. But we have a slight issue with this question. When they told us that we want to know how many laps she runs in 1 hour and 15 minutes, they're trying to trick you. Can I put the phrase 1 hour and 15 minutes in the spot where it says minutes? Nope. I can't just put 15 minutes in there. I want an entire hour and an extra 15 minutes. So in order for us to know what value goes here, we need to change 1 hour and 15 minutes to just representing minutes. So if I know 1 hour has 60 minutes and this also has 15 extra minutes, how many total minutes are we looking at? 75. So we will put 75 in there. Remember, when you're trying to fill in this proportion, the units must match. So if a detail is given to you where it doesn't match the units you have to use, you're going to have to modify it so that way we can still use the number, but in a different way. Think about us changing that 1 1/4 cup of milk from our previous video into a decimal, so we didn't have to use a fraction on top of a fraction. So go ahead and solve your proportion. If you're doing cross multiplication as your first step, and let me know what X equals. If you did your cross multiplication, you should have gotten X equals 24.1. And if I look back at what X is, it's supposed to say laps. So this is 24.1 laps. All right, moving on to number 6. An online store receives 15 orders per day. At this rate, how many orders can they expect in a month of September? So, looking at information that's provided. 15 orders per day. Remember, per was that fancy way of saying we have a fraction. How many orders is our X? So we're looking for the orders in the month of September. So if we take a look at this fraction, we are trying to set up it equal to another one. The first detail they gave us is 15 orders per, meaning this is going here, day. Now, they don't give us a value for the day. So if we are just seeing day, how many days is just a day? 1. How many orders? Well, if orders are on top here, we're going to put orders there. If days are on the bottom there, we'll put days here. How many orders is the unknown? That's what we got to find. And they want to know in the month of September. In order for us to take a minute and think about this, I can't put month in for days. So I need to know how many days are in September. If you're looking back at your calendar, there are 30. Go ahead and use cross multiplication and tell me how many orders should they expect in the month of September. If you solved it correctly, you should have gotten 450 orders in the month of September. Number 7. Trey made 12 out of 30 free throw shots on the basketball court. If he attempts 75 free throw shots, mouse twister there, how many can he expect to make? So he's trying to make 75 free throw shots. We know he's not going to make every single one of them because that's not his mojo. That's not his actual rate. So we need to figure out how many is he actually going to make. So in here, the story gives how many he makes, how many attempts. So if we have 12 made and there was 30 attempts, we know on the other side it would be made out of attempts. Would I do 75 out of X or X out of 75? You should have done 75 attempts, X made. We have no idea how many he actually made until we solve this proportion. Go ahead and give it a go. You should have gotten X equals 30 shots made. So if he attempts 75 times, he's only going to make 30 baskets. Better than my skills. Moving on to the last question, number 8. Jack bought 3 binders from the store and paid $13.17. That first sentence trying to trick us by giving us a verbal description of the number 3. But we don't let that happen. If he goes back to the store to purchase 5 more binders, how much in total will he have spent on binders? So, on this situation, we have been given our proportion in a description. First thing it says is 3 binders is $13.17. I'm doing 5 more binders, and I want to know how much it's going to cost. How much am I spending? So, in this case, would it be 5 over X or X over 5. If this said binders, and this was the dollar amount, we don't know the dollar amount, but we do know he bought 5 more. So in this situation, we have our proportion set up, and we have X equals $21.95 after you have solved it. So that's $21.95 for the 5 binders that he's bought. If I want to know how much in total we have spent on binders, is this our final answer? No. This is just for 5 binders. And the other 3 binders cost $13.17. So if I add those together, how much is the total amount that he spent on binders? $35.12. Pretty expensive binders. All right, solving proportions using word problems, number 2.